Now, today is the last day of Chinese drills near the Taiwan Strait, dubbed as Joint Sword. The three-day exercises have included rehearsing an encirclement of Taiwan. The drill seen as an angry show of force following Taiwanese President Tsai Ing-wen's meet with U.S. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. China is also due to hold live-fire drills today in a bid to round off 3 days of military exercises. The Eastern Theater Command of the Chinese People's Liberation Army on Sunday continued to conduct combat readiness patrols and military exercises around Taiwan. Under the unified command of the Joint Operation Command Center, the troops of multiple services coordinated to carry out simulated precision strikes on key targets around the Taiwan island. Dozens of aircraft of the Air Force, including early warning planes, fighters, bombers and jamming aircraft, flew to the targeted airspace, forming a joint strike system together with the land and sea forces. Chinese state-run broadcaster released footage showing Chinese Navy conducting live-fire drills at sea. According to Taiwan's Defense Ministry, 70 Chinese aircraft flew around the island on Sunday, out of which 45 warplanes either crossed the Taiwan Strait median line or flew into the southwestern part of Taiwan's air defense identification zone. Taiwan's Coast Guard administration also released video on Saturday, which shows an officer warning a Chinese military vessel not to draw near the island's territorial waters limit.
这里是中华民国海巡署100拐沟艇广播。你现在已经严重破坏地域和平、稳定及安全，请你立刻转向驶离。如果你继续前进，我将采取驱离措施。
Taiwanese President Tsai Ing-wen has denounced these drills and has pledged to work with the United States and other like-minded countries in the face of continued authoritarian expansionism. Now, for more on this, we're joined by Jamil Jaffer, who is the founder and executive director of the National Security Institute, also an assistant professor of law and director of National Security Law and Policy Program. Thank you so much for joining us on this broadcast.
Thanks for having me.
My first question to you, the drills, they're seen as an angry show of force following Taiwanese President Tsai Ing-wen's meet with U.S. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. How do you assess the situation?
Well, obviously, it's another increase in tensions, but we've seen a range of these threats against Taiwan made by the Chinese over the last year and a half, not only when Speaker Nancy Pelosi from the U.S. Congress visited the island nation, but also in between that, where the Chinese have long been flying dozens of aircraft into the Taiwanese air defense identification zone, as well as over the center line of the Taiwan Straits.
Right, absolutely. So China is due to hold live-fire drills today as well. Just for more clarity here, do you see this as an escalation?
Well, you know, given that it's the third day in a row of these now planned Chinese exercises that were announced 2 days ago, obviously I do think it is an escalation. The quantity and scope of the activities, the fact that they're using live fire drills, obviously is an escalation over prior activity and deeply concerning because it demonstrates once again that China is considering using force against Taiwan.
Right, absolutely. Taiwanese President Tsai Ing-wen has denounced these drills, has pledged to work with the United States and other like-minded countries. How do you assess the role of the international community when it comes to backing Taiwan?
Well, it's obviously critical that the international community rallies to Taiwan's side. The kind of behavior that the Chinese have engaged in is completely unprecedented and inappropriate. So it's important that the Quad, which includes the United States, Japan, Australia, and India, comes together and denounces these attacks as a joint organization. And then the broader community of nations makes clear to China that behavior like this and any threatened invasion of Taiwan is unacceptable.
Right. That being said, how do you see the situation unfolding going forward?
Well, you know, at least in the near term, I think the Chinese are not prepared to undertake an invasion of Taiwan. They've indicated to their military that they need to be prepared to engage in such activities by 2027. That may very well come before that. However, at this time, certainly there is an opportunity for the United States and our allies in the region to come together to demonstrate to China that we will not accept this kind of behavior and to potentially deter this action going forward. It's important that the community of nations comes together and deters that behavior by the Chinese.
All right, Professor Jaffer, thank you so much for joining us on this broadcast with your insights on this.
Thanks for having me.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.